Before the pandemic, our relationship was already in trouble.
It's like we argue about everything.
I mean, he comes home and he sits in the driveway, in the car, instead of coming into the house with me and his son.
See? She doesn't trust me. And she talks about me to her girlfriends. Like she speaks so loudly like she wants me to hear it. What am I supposed to do with that?
Why do you have to get out of the bed at 11:20 at night to return a text?
You see? She doesn't even know how to talk to me.
And he refuses to talk to me.
Like the first couple weeks of quarantine, together in the house all day and all night, just confirmed it's me.
I can't do this anymore.
You know what? I'm done.
I think I'm done.
Maybe we need to get some help.
I think we need to talk to somebody.
Marriages are under attack. And if you or someone you know needs help, then join Pastors Lewis and Stephanie Tucker for My Church Marriage S.E.R.E training. Pastors Lewis and Stephanie Tucker have designed a course to help your marriage to not just survive, but to thrive. Get the tools necessary for a successful biblical marriage. You can enjoy this course live on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Why not make an investment into your marriage that will impact generations? My Church Lynchburg Marriage S.E.R.E training.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm Pastor Tuck, and this is my beautiful wife, Pastor Steph, and welcome to My Church Marriage S.E.R.E training. Now, I know some of you may be wondering, what is S.E.R.E training? Well, in the military, soldiers who are part of special forces are required to go through S.E.R.E training, which stands for survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. So in the case of capture, they may encounter, so that they may be able to endure the extreme conditions they may encounter at the hands of the enemy. Well, Pastor Stephanie and I are going to teach you how to go from just surviving marriage to enjoying marriage by retraining you so you can endure the trials of life. And if you will commit to joining us every third Thursday, we're going to give you the tools necessary to have and maintain a successful biblical marriage. And I'm so excited tonight. Tonight, we're going to have the privilege of talking with and sharing with one of our favorite couples in the world. I tell you, this is, we're so proud of this young couple. Mm-hmm. You know, this is one of my spiritual sons. Mm-hmm. You know, he's been a part of our life for such a long time. Mm-hmm. And we've had the pleasure of watching his journey with the Lord and watching him grow. And now we've been able to watch God reward him with a queen, with a beautiful wife of his own. And they just celebrated their 1 month anniversary. And so we want to bring them on and want to talk to them about their relationship, and just talk to them about the things of the Lord, and just talk to them about marriage. And we're excited to be able to share some of that with you tonight. Mm-hmm. And so we're not going to hold this up. We're not going to belabor this long. We want to bring them out of the green room so they can get in here on this. And so I'm just excited to have them tonight. And so tonight we want to introduce to you all the Joneses.
Woohoo! What's up, Joneses?
Hey.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good. I think it's good. How are y'all?
Oh,
good,
man.
good.
So excited, man. So excited. So glad to see y'all, smiling, mm-hmm. to see y'all happy. Mm-hmm. I mean, just, oh, man, I can't tell you. I know Pastor Stephanie's going to beam on you, but I mean, I can't tell y'all how proud I am of my son, man, to see him. So many people, he and I talk all the time about his journey and, you know, the time we've spent together. And I know the desires of his heart and what God has done through this process. And to see him sitting there with Mrs. Jones beside him. Oh, I mean, it's nothing but to see the favor of God on his life. I mean, this has been a blessing. And I'm just so proud of you, man, to see you as the man of God with your woman of God beside you, man. Yep. This is it, man. This is life. This is what we've been talking about all these years. And so I'm excited about this.
I'm telling you, I am too. Y'all know I could talk about that all evening, right? But yes, we are so godly proud of the both of you. Your wedding was beautiful. The
Thank you.
reception was fun. Um, and, it was just nice seeing you guys as a couple trying to get all the details together before the wedding. And I remember telling Danielle, I said, look here, don't stress. I said, the bottom line is you have the pastor, God, you, and Curtis. That's all that matters. She's
Yeah.
like, that's right. I know. I know. And then, of course, other details had popped up in her mind. But I love the fact that, y'all two were working together to make that day special. And then after a while, it was just like, okay, it's on and popping. We getting ready to do this thing. And it was just nice to be able to be a witness to your love, and definitely the witness of how God had orchestrated your relationship. Everybody has different experiences with you both, meaning like your immediate family and everything. But from a spiritual family sense, again, we knew, Curtis, what was on your heart. And when I first met Danielle and talked with her, I was like, man, this is the one. I was like, whoa. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. But and it just turned out to be a beautiful thing, to see it just come together on that glorious day a month ago. And I'm looking forward to, of course, the many years ahead with you guys, as you all go through this journey called marriage. So
Yeah, I just got one bone to pick with you. I'm like, you came down the steps, man, the fireworks and everything. I was like, who you think you are, me? I'm like, I'm just saying, I was gonna tell you that night, but I let you have it that night. But
that
I'm like,
was
bro,
crazy.
I
come on,
appreciate you. I appreciate
I'm
it.
saying, I'm like, he got fireworks. I'm like, who you think he is, Pastor Tuck? I mean, you can't just walk in the door with fireworks going off, bro. I'm like, pyrotechnics and everything.
That's in Pastor Tuck's mind. I just want to share that. That's in his mind and his thoughts, right?
Just because of the fire code, pyrotechnics don't go off everywhere I go. You know how it is.
That's crazy. That is
there
crazy.
are laws that I have to abide by. You
Crazy.
understand? But there's supposed to be pyrotechnics everywhere I go.
That's right.
But I was like, yo, he did it. He did that thing. He did that thing.
Yeah, it was nice. Very nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, that was beautiful, man. We so proud of you guys.
So it's been a whole month, huh? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So tell us, how has it been
Yeah.
the first month of marriage?
That's on you.
The first month, I don't know. I think there's definitely that adjustment piece. We're under the same roof now, so it's not like that distant dating situation. In a sense of if there's any type of conflict, we have to kind of face that head on instead of I'm just gonna put my phone down and ignore him. Like we're in the same household now. And then, of course, he had, 30 something years of life. I had 20 something years of life before we came together and meshed our lives. So, he has his little quirks and habits, and I have my habits and little quirks. And, there's definitely that compromise that needs to take place for everything to run smoothly. So yeah, we're still trying to tread those waters and, keep open lines of communication whenever there might be an issue or, yes, I guess all that is, it's new to us, but not really. But at the same time, like I said, we're underneath the same roof, so you kind of have to face everything head on instead of just kind of being like, I'll call him later. I'll text him later.
Right. It's a different covenant. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Sure enough.
The adjustment period is definitely something that's real. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand, and that's one of the reasons why we talk so much about that in premarital counseling about that's one of those big adjustments, because so many people don't think about it. When you think about it when you're dating, everything is wonderful, because when you've had a bad day, I just won't call them until I've had the time to get myself together. So you always get the best of that person, and so but when you live together, like I said, that bad day comes home with you.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, who is this person? I've never seen them before. Because see, they've been sparing you from that person because
Right.
you've been auditioning for the job, so all you brought was your resume. All you bought was your interview
Your
clothes.
best game.
And so they never got to see that raw processing of emotions. They never got to see that processing of stress. And those are those things, and that's why premarital counseling is so important because so many people, and that's why so many people I think fail because of it. So how do you all think that premarital counseling played such a role in you all's development? Do you think it was important? Do you think it helped you all in this transition, in this season, putting your relationship together and getting to this point?
100%. I think it was very useful, extremely useful. I think it, how would I say it? It was it was the G League for the NBA. It was the step before. So it gave us a boost. Like you was telling me, like you used to say to me a lot. It's not about winning and things like that, and just the principles that we went over. Just kind of give you a heads up for um, when you're actually living in it. And I feel like even some of I think we've had a great, month and a half. But like in some of the trying times, I could see myself had we not did any counseling prior to this, like kind of blowing up about stuff or, feeling, all or nothing kind of. Whereas with the counseling, I believe, keeps you with a level head. And then, one thing you always tell me is like, it's not about her, it's about your relationship with God. And so that's big, referring back to that. So I think it was great. I think the counseling played a very instrumental part.
Awesome.
That is amazing. And this, I mean, and once again, that speaks to, once again, your growth as a man of God. It speaks to the foundation of your relationship, because so many people don't have that. So many people aren't at that level of maturity, and that's that thing that counseling, that premarital counseling brings to the table, where most people don't have going in. And so we usually fall back to our baser emotions, that selfish desire to make me feel good, to how I feel about a situation, and not being able to step back and look at that bigger picture, because you haven't been equipped for these things, because these things come at you head on. Like you said, you walk in the house now and there's a conflict and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And so you just want to react, where now you can respond because you've been prepared for it. And now you have the wisdom and know how to prepare for it and how to walk through it, because it's not such a shock to your system, because you know it's coming. And like you said, it's the G League, and this is SERE training. You're a military man. It's like going through basic training. It's like dropping somebody off in a war zone that hasn't been through basic training, that hadn't been through field training, because you go in the war zone, all this stuff start happening. You panic because you don't know how to. But when you go in the war zone and you've been through properly trained for battle, now you just rely on your training. You go back to the things that you've actually had to actually equip you for this. So even though it's a stressful situation, it's a high stress situation, you can now handle it because you've been given the tools.
Yeah.
And I think that's real big. And to see you guys at this point, like I said, we were telling people, even at the reception, we were sitting there telling people, I'm like, oh, they good.
Yeah.
They good. We know they good. We signed off on this over a year ago. We know they good.
Yeah, buddy, we laughed. It's I was like, man, I wish we laughed. I said we needed a microphone, him and I, to go, they good. Whatever y'all think, they good. Y'all don't have to worry about nothing. She's going to be well taken care of. He's going to be well taken care of, because it goes deeper than just, oh, we got into a little disagreement. Now it goes much, much deeper. And both of you had prepared for this, prior to even thinking about marriage or engagement. Y'all had been preparing for this, but God had also been preparing you both. Because when y'all first met, y'all were friends. And
Right.
if not best friends, but friends, you
Yeah.
were. Y'all shared the circle of acquaintances, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And little did you know, God was like, "Oh, okay, I see you. So let me go ahead and just make this play right now." And the fact that, Curtis, I will say that, you yielded and surrendered to, what God wanted for you. That you had to go through your process of, growing closer to Him. And, Danielle, when we talked the first time we met, she had been praying for this man to come into her life. And I'm looking down in the backyard at Curtis and Pastor Tuck, and I was like, that's the man. Everything that she wanted, everything that she desired, just from our conversations, you were it, sealed with a blessing and a kiss. So I just love the fact that you both first grew closer to God and developed that relationship with Him first, before y'all started to have, more of a connection intimately with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that, because I know, we know a lot about how you all came together, but I know everybody who's watching probably like, that they're hearing us talk about from our perspective. But tell us the story. How did y'all meet? How did this happen? Because we have so many people who watch stuff like this. They listen to stuff like this. They like, well, where mine at?
I met my husband at kickball through a work event, and he did not work for my company, but we had a mutual friend, and we just needed more people to help us on the kickball. It's like an adult league. Every Thursday we get together, just fun, truly just fun. And like I said, we had a mutual friend, and we needed that extra person. And so that mutual friend reached out to Curtis, and of course, I'm just kind of like, la da da da, and I see him. I think our story differs a little bit when we talk
It
about.
always does. Get used
That's
to
always
it.
the
It's
case.
always the case. 25 years later, and ours is still different. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't really see him.
That's what she said. We're gonna leave that for y'all interpretation. But
I didn't see him. I really didn't. I was kind of doing my thing, and I think one of the things we talked about, he's like, oh, you smiled and you laughed at me. Like, I was like, I mean, I guess, like, I was just trying to be nice. Like, you didn't know anybody. Like, I was trying to be nice to you. But yeah, so it was kickball. Kickball had kind of come and gone, and then we didn't talk to each other for a little over a year. Yeah, about a year and a half, and then that same mutual friend was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about Danielle?" And of course, I'm still kind of, and anyway, I think the young people said he shoot. Wait, he shot. No, he shoot a shot.
His shot.
Yeah,
Shot a shot. Yep.
That's crazy.
Anyway, so yeah, he sent me edible arrangement to my job, and it's funny because at that time when we first met, he introduced himself as Kurt, and I got this edible arrangement that had his phone number and said Curtis, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was one of my patients being creepy, and I just happened to text that mutual friend. I text that mutual friend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, I just got this crazy, edible arrangement, and he's like, oh, so, and I'm like, what did you do? And so then, that's kind of how we got back in contact, and it started off as, again, a slow friendship and trying to rebuild, and going on little dates here and there, and
It started off. We probably. I mean, I'm not even gonna correct none of the stuff because I gotta live with her, So
Yeah.
yes, baby, yes, babe. That's what happened. Um, but so we when we got back in contact with each other, I reached out with a Evelyn arranged my senator job, and then yeah, through our mutual friend, we ended up, I guess she talked to him like she said, and she reached out to me, and we started texting and talking a little bit back and forth. Um, and then I don't know, we probably text back and forth for like a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we text back and forth for like a month or so. I know phone calls and stuff, and then I felt that I I knew it was about to get real. You know what I'm saying? I knew she's trying to play it to the left. I knew, but I said, God, listen, man, if it's for me, it's for me. And so I went on like a 30-day. We went on a 30-day fast.
I'm starting to like this man, and he left me. Like I had to, I had to honor that because I'm like, okay. I mean, I said the same thing. I was like, if this is it, then let your will be done. But I mean, Lord, you're gonna let him leave me for 30 days? Like what?
But like you said, and I want everybody to hear this though.
Yeah.
You said, but I honored that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be clear. You went on a 30-day fast. Describe this 30-day fast, because I think this was very unique. Because this because she said you left her, and everybody's like, what do you mean he left you?
Ghosted.
He just said he went on a 30-day fast. He just didn't eat. No, tell him about this 30-day fast, Curtis.
Hit it.
30 days. I was just a liquid diet for 30 days, and I didn't have no kind of contact with her at all for 32 days. Or what?
No, YouTube.
Oh yeah, I stayed off like no social media. It really was just tomato soup, water, and praying for real. It was a lot of praying. Yeah, I mean, it was just really, even looking back, I would say it was just one of the closest I felt to just leaning in to the word and kingdom business. It was 30 days, 32. Ended up being a couple of extra days.
It
I was
did, but
like,
he said 30 days, and I'm like, okay, 31, 32. Okay, maybe. I didn't press it though. I didn't press it.
No, she didn't. She honored it.
And see, that was the thing that was so amazing to me, because he said at the end of the 30 days, God said, give me 3 more days. And he couldn't call and tell you that he was going to take 3 more days. So you're expecting 30.
I was.
So you like 31, hello?
And
Where you at?
32, I was like, you know what? It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I mean,
but once
that's
again,
good.
and that's amazing, because God was like, okay, I'm going to see if they trust me.
Woo.
And so not only did you know he was testing him, but he was testing you.
Yes, he was.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
And see, that's some power right there. Oh, I need y'all to hear that. How God put them to the test to see if they were going to trust their emotions, their flesh, or were they going to trust him, that he was preparing them for one another. And that's what I thought was so game changing. I'm like, because so many people are like, well, where my guy? Have you spent a month disconnected from everybody else, only connected with God, waiting for God to tell you?
Tomato soup, crackers,
for God to show you? Have you been willing to say, I'll wait on God? And that's why I think most people miss it, because they're not willing to say, I'm not gonna move until God says move. And I think that's what was so powerful, because I remember the conversations, Curtis, you and I used to have, and God had already put you in a place where you were successful on your job, you're financially successful. It was like, and you were like, all this don't mean nothing. The one thing I want is a rib. And God was like, well, you can't have her till you have me.
Wow.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And God said, you got to be satisfied with me before I'll give you her. Otherwise, she'll become your God. And I think that's where so many people miss it. Because they're not willing to put God in his place. And even at that point when you fasted, God was saying, now that I've shown her to you, now I said that you can have her, are you going to trade her for me? Are you going to keep me in my place?
Yeah.
And that was a testing point.
Yeah.
And when you pass that test, now you see what he's giving you. And that's the kind of stuff that most people will never experience. They'll never walk in this because they can't get past their flesh long enough.
Wow.
Oh, I know I just said some stuff. I know some of y'all just turned it off. Y'all like, oh, he's gone too far. I'm going back to swiping. Yeah, you go back to swiping. But this right here, this is what's going to change your life right here when you get this.
And, even the whole concept of trust, by going through the fast like you did, Curtis, and then the 2 extra days. And, Danyelle, as you said, I'm going to honor that. And then you were like day 31 and 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and you didn't hear anything. What was it like for you to trust God at that moment? Do you remember the conversations you had with him? Or how you may have had to tune people out, because how it is. We talk about our flesh. We always have that one girlfriend that knows how to feed our flesh, not our faith, but our flesh. Where, girl, it's been 31 days, 32. What, he ghost you? What's up? You understand?
If I was you, I'd go on about my business.
Right. Don't waste your time.
So when he told me that he was going on this fast, and it felt almost abrupt because I'm not in the relationship between him and God. So for me, I'm thinking, oh yeah, everything's good. I was this guy, we're vibing, and then he just says, hey, I need to go on this fast, and I was like, oh. But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sexy too, right? Because I'm like, and I
say that part again for the fellas, because they don't understand that that's probably the most attractive thing to a woman is a man of God.
Definitely very sexy. Because I was like, oh, okay, but like 30 though, like not 15 or like 10, 30. Okay, we're doing this.
15, 20.
And so in that time, he sent me that text, and I'm like, oh, okay. So before he left, I sent him some songs, and I was like, hey, they said, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I hope these songs can bless you. And I sent him 6 different songs, just ones that, I was going through some tough times in my life as well, that really these songs either had me on my face crying, or I felt like the lyrics were just so deep. So I was like, maybe these songs can bless you too. Go in peace, and hey, we'll talk later. And he, I think, hit me with a good night, beautiful. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh. Okay, he's really not going to text me back. He's really going on this thing. And so, when he kind of left, in a sense, I kind of used that time to also figure out, what does Danyelle want? What are you looking for in your man? And what is God trying to tell you? Because I remember one thing he said to me that kind of sexy. He said, basically, I don't want to mishandle you. When this man said he didn't want to mishandle me, I was like, oh God. I was like, oh my God. Yep. And so I remember thinking to myself, well, if this is supposed to be for me, I don't want to mishandle him too, right? So Danyelle Danyelle comes with her own baggage, so she needs to kind of get her life together. So, if our roads cross again, then I kind of want to be the best version of me for him. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. And, I did have someone, kind of question me like, girl, are you sure he doesn't have a relationship he's trying to, and I'm like, no, I think look, I don't know what's going on. Okay. The man told me he's going on a fast, and I'm just going to trust it. And, at this point, truly, it's none of my business. And, we'll see what happens in, 32 days. But, when that 30 day came around, I'm not going to lie. I think I went back to count, because I was like, wait, this man did tell me 30 days, right? And I'm like, okay, it's not 31, 30, I don't know. And so, the 31st day came around, And even the 30-second day, and it wasn't even like he texted me like first thing in the morning. I think, a few hours had gone by, and he was just, I saw his name pop up on my phone, and I was like,
That's what you were like. The heavens opened up. Father, thank you, Jesus.
I was like, there he is. And, I think my first question was, hey, like, how was everything? Like, how do you feel? Like, tell me about it. And I don't really remember the rest of the conversation, but, to answer the question, in that time when he was gone, I also had to work on me, again, to try to be the best version of myself for him. Whether he was going to come back or not, I didn't know. And, yeah.
Wow.
So during that 30 days, Curtis, I know it was difficult not talking to her, even though you were being submitted unto God. How did you handle not talking to her? What did you do?
Man, really, well, I'll tell you, like she said, she sent me, so at that time, I didn't really have no, music, that I was like tapped in with. And she sent me like, yeah, 6 or 7 songs. And truth be told, I didn't really like the specific songs she sent, but the artists and the groups were great. So like I found some of their other stuff, and I kind of just dug into that. And I mean, I would and it was all like worship music, and it's gonna sound corny, but uh, I would go and I would like play the artist, that she sent me, and it kind of felt like we kind of was connecting like that.
That's not
Um,
corny.
that's kind of corny, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I eat that. But that and like I said, just I mean, I prayed a lot. I mean, I was just doing a lot of praying. Just I mean, I was in the gym a lot. Well, no, I wasn't in the gym a lot at the time because I wasn't eating much. So, but I would do like calisthenics and stuff, and I'd be tired, and I'm just like, God, like, I need you all the way around. Like, it ain't even like just a physical thing, like mentally, and like, talk about my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in it, but I don't want to, be in something and it ain't be for me, and I didn't invested energy and time and effort, and you know, and at the same time, like I said, like we had met years prior, and then we weren't really much in contact, and then when we did start talking, like I just in my mind, she was just everything, right? And it's like, as much as I don't want to, you know, get hurt or do something wrong, at the same time, I don't want to, hurt her. So I'm like, you know, fix me, So I'm like praying God, like, yo, take it away, like, take it away, like whatever ain't supposed to be there, take it, prune, just prune, 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 and I mean that's really how I got through. Just a lot of prayer, talking to you and Tuck. Yeah, that was how I did it.
So what did you do when you were tempted to talk to her, tempted to call her? How'd you handle that?
Well, I mean, it was some times I just had to just cut my phone off completely because
Sure.
I don't remember too many times but I remember like vividly one time that I was like, man, I'm about to just text her. Just like I'm probably halfway through. I was probably mid 2 weeks in or something, and I almost shot her a message, and um it was just gonna be it was
Like,
gonna like a quick nothing, like
yeah.
hey, just
Hey, I'm
yeah, you
good.
gotta, and then it hit me like so you think you ready to be committed to somebody the rest of your life, but you can't commit me these 30 days. You know what I'm saying? And
Woo!
I just said, hey, look, after that, it wasn't really no issues. Like, hey, I can handle 30, man. Like, 30 is light. So yeah, when I heard it like that, it
Yeah.
really just sounds petty. Like you can't go 30 days, like, so you should be able to drop anything for 30 for me, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was, so it was just like, you know what, you're right. Like, there it is. That's that.
All right.
Look at it just cheesing.
I know. I'm like, and you too. I can't even see your eyes. You just smiling so hard.
I'm looking at her. She like,
Yeah.
yeah, he did that. He did that.
And
Oh
and
man.
the good thing though is that yes, you both did that.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all didn't try to force the hand of God, because many times people get impatient, they settle, they become bitter, they do the remember whens. Remember when you told me it was day 30 and now it's 32.
Mm-hmm.
Deuces with the two. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just y'all had to really, again, trust God, put it in God's hands, and not try to take it back.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hard not wanting to take it back, especially when you've been used to, like Curtis, you were a leader in the military. You were used to taking over stuff and picking up people's slack and having to do things. And, but with this situation, you were like, okay, God, it's on you. I don't have nothing to do with this. I ain't trying to control it. Yeah. I'm rolling with you. And, same thing with you, Danyelle. And I think that's one of the things I'm laughing thinking about when we were sitting on the porch that day and she was telling me about how she's like, yeah, I don't mean any harm, but it was so sexy. So I'm surprised you didn't hear us. We were cackling. I'm surprised you didn't hear us cackling, because I was like, yeah, girl. I said, it's something sexy when you got a man who follows God. I'm going to tell you right now,
It is so true.
And the reason for that, again, is because, they're following God. They're putting all the pressure on him, and the thing that you want to do is follow someone who's going to follow God, period. With Adam and Eve, they got it all messed up. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that we didn't do that, the fact that y'all said, okay, I'm going to get my place of where I'm to be as a man and then as a husband, that is a nice looking thing for us ladies who are desiring a man who loves God. So, All right. You want me to go and read that book? Okay. So, I put down some questions. I was trying to think of things to talk about, but, and this kind of ties in with, again, trusting God and then, waiting. But, I read somewhere that many people don't even notice the other. You know how you were like, Danyelle? I was like, la da 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 da. Okay. What'd you say, Curtis? Huh?
No, I said, yep, didn't notice them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you didn't notice them. Yep. For example, you like them, but they are showing absolutely no interest. And the lack of interest can be extremely frustrating. So, Danyelle didn't notice you right away, Curtis. And you like, man, I'm feeling this girl, but she, she act like we bosom buddies. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing more. And it can cause someone to kind of lose hope, And one of the things I read, it stated that friendship first begins. And ultimately, one day, it's like God opened up your eyes and he showed you that person in a whole different light and who they are for you. With Pastor Tuck and I was we were over at a friend's house and the mom was like, yeah, you gonna marry her. And he like, I ain't getting married. Not me, because he still thought he was like, the single life. Until
I already knew.
He already knew.
Yeah,
right. So
just can't let nobody else tell you what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you know how it is. G. It's like,
this is my hand. I'm gonna play it.
I got this. You don't be telling me. I already know what's going on.
And in my heart of hearts, when she was talking, I was like, yeah, I hope he does ask me to marry him. But, if he doesn't, oh well, I'll just go, with the flow.
Yeah.
And as a result, I did, and we got engaged in what, November? Yep. So, I mean, it was rather quick,
Yeah.
but it's stuck and it's sticking. We'll be going into
That's right.
26 years.
That's right.
So it's almost like, God removed the scales off both your eyes to truly see God in each other.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I thank God for your obedience to fasting, to cutting off certain things. But, again, Danielle, I keep going back to where you say, I had to honor that.
Yeah.
Because how many times in the Bible does it talk about a complaining, nagging wife?
On three different occasions it says
Yep.
that you would rather live on the corner of a roof than in the house with a nagging wife.
Yep.
Mm.
And so many people don't recognize the value of the relationship that God's given you. They don't even understand the purpose of the relationship. God's putting us in relationships because He's got purpose for our lives, and that relationship He's putting together is because it's a complementary relationship to help fulfill the vision that He's placed within you. Both of you all bring something to one another that's going to fulfill what God's put in you. There's a total assignment that He has for the Jones family, and that's going to come to fruition because you all are complementing each other, because both of y'all bring something to the table. Y'all are not the same, and so both of y'all are not going to see the world the same. You're not going to communicate the same. But the ultimate purpose is that you would come together and fulfill the vision that God has placed within you that's going to bless the body. It's going to bring glory to His name. And so many people go into this thinking, well, I want somebody who makes me happy. I want somebody who makes me feel good, or, whatever. But that's not the purpose of marriage. The purpose is to do this thing the way God assigned it. And when you do so, the fringe benefit is all of those feelings, is all of that pleasure, is all of that benefit. That's what you get for, that's your reward for doing it the way God designed it. And I think so many people have missed this because they're trying to put something together instead of waiting for God to put this together. And I think you all recognize what it looks like when you going out here trying to do it yourself. I think both of you have problems. You can attest to what that was like, that process was like. And you going out here, it's like trial and error. You trying to figure this out, and it's like this ain't working. This ain't working because you're out here trying to do something, and it's like this just doesn't fit, and it's constantly. I think you said earlier, you're producing issues with yourself. You're wounding yourself. You're picking up wounds that now you got to go back and try to heal before you come into another relationship, instead of just waiting for God, because God said the whole time, I'm trying to prepare you. I'm trying to prepare her, and at the right time, I'm gonna bring y'all together at a most unassuming moment when you're not even looking. Y'all playing kickball. And God said, yeah, I'm just going to put y'all in the general proximity, so that y'all know who each other is. And then when the right time is right, I'm going to put it in your conscience. And that's the way God operates. But so many people, we miss it. We don't even understand it. And I think that's why so many people are so frustrated now. But talk about the fact that you spent that time in that frustrating season, and how did you get to a place where you just were like, I'm not trying no more, I'm just gonna wait?
I would say, it was definitely frustrating. And I, like, as far as the dating, I just got burnt out. I was just burnt out. So I don't even know if it was a maybe conscious choice. I mean, I'm not sure, but it was just to a point. It was just like, it was just to a point where, I don't even care no more. Like not that I don't want to date, but I guess I'm just not willing to put that energy out. And and like you said, I really went for the kickball. it was just like a break in the week, middle of the week, just something else to do. And the crazy thing is, me and him, we've been in basketball leagues together and all that kind of thing. And it, like you said, it was just random. Um, and like when I saw her, I'm like, man, wow, and
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and but like you said, it was we were playing kickball, and truthfully, it really was just a seed being like planted, because nothing came about it except we met each other, and we was it
Wow.
cordial with each other, and we
Mm.
talking during kickball and stuff like that. Nothing beyond that, and then like you said, later when the time was right, when he finished working in me, or when I was to a point that he was like, okay, now you can progress to this next step. Then, I feel like, our mutual friend just reached out like, hey man, you gotta check on her. And I mean, it's like a year and a half later, And
Wow.
I'm like, you know what? I will. And
Why, yes, I
yeah,
shall.
I will.
And look
And
at you now. I love it.
yeah, so I think it
Whew.
yeah, I think, God just I just think he just sat me down like, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
you say you want it, yeah, the way your way just don't work.
Mm.
But
That's
Okay.
it.
definitely frustrated. Definitely frustrated.
Understood. What about you,
Danielle,
Danielle?
what's your take on that?
Yeah, I had also gotten to a point where, and I just left a situation. I was like, I don't care anymore. I really don't. And my philosophy in life is always, what is for me will be for me. I've always kind of lived by that rule. Like, I may not see it right now, may not even look good right now, but what's for me will be for me. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I kind of got to that point myself. And even when he kind of popped up in a sense, I I know, and I guess I was kind of tired too, right? Like I was at the point where I'm not going to sit here and expend unnecessary energy. Um,
There was a little bit of resistance, and they stood a little bit,
oh
a
no,
little
I'm
bit.
not going to sugarcoat. There was definitely some resistance on my part. When he's,
Sure, sure,
texting, this is before he went on the fast too, and like
sure.
during the fast, like I feel like
We grew.
God, yes, we definitely grew, and God allowed
Mm-hmm.
me to almost like miss him, because prior to that, I don't care whether you text me or not, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But during that time or prior to that moment, I was just kind of like, Curtis is texting me, cool,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I didn't definitely not resistance, and yeah, I don't know. It just I also didn't want to get hurt again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was also kind of definitely guarded, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, ugh, just another man.
Yep.
Do I waste
Sure.
my time? Do I not? Um, do I invest in this?
Mm-hmm.
So it got to a point where I was like, okay, maybe I'll show him a little bit of attention. I'll entertain it a little bit, but I do definitely think that as much as that fast was for him,
You
it was
keep
for me
going out.
too, because it,
Mm-hmm.
it was like I missed I missed him, and I was like, ew. But then I
All
think
right, you ain't have to say yeah. You ain't have to say yeah.
but I wasn't looking for
Uh-huh.
anything, and I didn't. And I felt like I wasn't in the place for anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
God was definitely working on me just as much as He was working on him.
Yeah. And it's funny, both of you all said, basically you weren't prepared. You weren't in the place.
Yep.
And it's so important to know that
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't. And that's why those repetitive mistakes come up, you
Mm.
know. And another common thing I heard from the both of you was that you were just tired. You were tired of playing around. You were
Yep.
tired of all these. I mean, because there's some crazy folk out there now. I mean, they were crazy when we were dating, but it's a whole nother issue. I have to constantly, touch base with my oldest, with Kaya, because again, there's a lot of boo boo fools out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny when someone that ultimately says, you know what, I'm done. It's just me and you, God. And sure enough, he has a way of putting the person he designed for you right in your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said that when before, I met him. I had been hurt so many times. I was
Mm.
like, man, God, I don't know what you're trying to do, but I'm done. I'm like, get me through school. I'm moving to North Carolina. I mean, I had all these plans.
Yes.
And then here come Big Daddy coming through the door. Pimping, coming through the door. And, now it changed because I was ready. He was ready. And it's just good when you can recognize that you don't have to subject yourself to foolishness all the time.
Right.
That stuff gets old.
Yeah.
Yep. What?
So you driving this train?
Okay. Anyway, okay, but the good thing is that y'all learned
Y'all
how
so
to,
cute.
huh?
Y'all so cute.
Well, thank you. As I'm hitting him underneath the table, like, who's next? Who's next? He tapping me and looking at me like, you go. Anyway, but it's good that you guys did wait. It's good that you trusted the process. Because many times people just don't do that, period. And learning how to surrender your own flesh, surrendering your desires to pick up what God desires for you. In the word, I was looking in Matthew chapter 6. Sorry, my husband moved the screen. Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, where it says, but seek, aim at, and strive after first of all his kingdom and his righteousness, his way of doing and being right. And then all these things taken together will be given you besides. So, basically, it just says put God first. Let him, and as you said, Curtis, that you focused on kingdom business. Let him do the business. Let him do the work to help you understand that his way is right and not our way. Because as soon as we try to put it in our hands, then you get a girl with multiple personalities, and a guy who is just not well groomed. I mean, we can go on. But it's again so that you don't settle. You save yourself to honor God, and as a result, he honored you with your husband. He honored you with your wife. Okay, keep going up. Okay, want to talk about that?
I told you
Anyway,
driving this train.
The pressure. Anyway, so if you were to advise, say for instance, and I know she's gonna probably beat me up if I say this, but if y'all had to give like Kaya, my oldest,
If you
some
had to
advice.
give anybody who's out here that's dating
Anyway,
and waiting for their spouse,
not just Kaya, she gonna cuss me out. But anyway, but if you really had to give someone advice about waiting for God to choose your spouse, what are your thoughts if you were to tell them to refuse to settle?
I would say, in discussing refusing to settle, I would say, everybody has their personal, character traits that you want in a person. But I think a lot of times when you're dating, I would say me, I never, prior to this, I never really considered like, spiritual life, like kingdom characteristics, I never, it just never really, just not something I would go in looking, hey, like if she don't have a spiritual life, it's not gonna work. That never really crossed my mind before. So I would say that's definitely important. Making, when you writing, praying for your list or whatever, put those in there. And then I would say, Tuck used to tell me, And I can't Tuck say some smooth stuff sometimes, but it was something like the premise was stop, stop reaching for her. I don't want to butcher it, but like, you know, because like he said earlier, like I felt like my life was great, I got this, got that, whatever, but it was like the part that I really wanted is missing, and he was like, oh, you're not gonna find that in a woman, because I mean I didn't dated, women and things of that nature, but it's like, oh, you got to find that in God first. So the thing that I would say to like somebody seeking a relationship, make sure that you are complete in Christ, and then everything else will, because at that point it's just like it's a cherry on top. It's like it's not even a need or a necessity, and the want might still be there, but it won't be like a yeah, make it or break it, and that's something to die for type of thing. It'll just be, look, if Mr. Right or Mrs. Right comes around, that's good. But like I'm already great. So I would say lock it in with God, your spiritual relationship, and then truly, I think I think sometimes, yeah, like fasting. I don't think even now I don't think we do that enough. Fasting. Because sometimes you gotta give something up to get what you want, to get something back. And yeah, so I just think having a mindset that if I want a man or a woman, um, spiritually, I need to stop acting like I want a man or a woman. Let me seek God.
Say
Wow,
that.
that was good. What about you, Danielle? How would you advise ladies?
Um, yeah, he said a lot of good things.
Yeah, he
But I
did.
think from a female standpoint, there is that piece that says don't settle, but do realize your vision and God's vision will not always align. And sometimes what you want isn't really good for you. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like there are certain aspects that it's funny because there are certain things that I pray for that God works on me with, right? Like whether it be patience or sometimes I feel like I have a temper or I'm quick to get angry about something or let some just like really just set me off sometimes, especially if I'm not really in line and I haven't been in the Bible, I haven't been praying like I should be, like I've kind of fallen off track a little bit. But I find that everything that it's almost like I've asked the Lord to help me with, this man has come along and challenged all that. I'm like, this man touched my
Okay.
face. This man, oh my gosh.
All right, baby. Good answer. That's a good answer. That's a great
Ding, ding,
answer.
ding, ding,
But
ding.
I guess I say all that to say, realize there will always be opportunities for not only you to do better, but this person to do better. So maybe on paper, I don't know, they might be missing a few things, but just know that you're missing a few things, but we can come together. And again, if it's spirit bound, spirit led, kingdom led, I believe that I believe that it can work, but you realize there's always going to be opportunities of growth. And I guess what I'm saying is don't strive for that perfection because you almost won't find it, right? Like 'cause in yourself,
Right.
you have areas that you need to
Mm-hmm.
improve on. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm
That's
fumbling
good.
over
That's
words at
good.
this point, but
That's
No,
good.
no, you're
Um,
not. You're
Go ahead.
not.
I would say if I could, one last thing was a little less spiritual, more what's the
Practical.
word?
worldly.
Practical.
Oh,
Practical, worldly. More practical
Uh-huh.
is you should pay attention to where you go, like physically. Um, some places just don't warrant the person that you're looking for or that you want in your life. So
Oh, say that.
um, yeah, so I think that's a big thing. Um, yeah, I mean I don't got the answer where you should go, but
Yeah.
just be mindful of where you at,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
where you are going.
If you're looking for a wife, stop hanging in the strip club.
Stop hanging in the strip club.
Yeah, that's how.
Stop
Yeah,
hanging in the strip club.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I mean that it's just a practical thing that
Mm-hmm.
some people just don't think about. That you still doing all of the things all of your single habits are some of the things that are keeping you single.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Wow.
all right.
This has been great.
Yes,
Well,
it has.
I think a good way to end this would be to share something with you guys that when Pastor Stephanie and I got married, it's funny because there was a poem that I had found, and I actually had one of my cousins read it at our wedding, and it was profound then, and it's even more profound,
Now.
25 years later. We've counseled and married, dozens of couples, through the years, and when I see people out here going through some of the things that they're going through with relationships, and these frustrations that people are having going through this always keeps coming back to mind. And Pastor Stephanie's been teaching on it in Women of Worth, and kind of using it as a tool. But I think it's very relevant for us to share, during this SEER training, especially on this particular day while we're talking about this particular subject about trusting God for your spouse. And this poem is called God's Plan for Your Mate Selection. And it says, everyone longs to give himself or herself completely to someone, to have a deep, committed soul relationship with another, to be loved thoroughly and unconditionally. But God says no, not until you are satisfied, fulfilled, content with living, loved by me alone, with giving yourself totally, unreservedly with me alone. I love you, my child, until you discover that only in me is your satisfaction to be found. You will not be capable of the perfect human relationship that I have planned for you. You will never be united with another until you are united with me exclusively, anyone or anything else exclusively, of any other desires and longings. I want you to stop planning, stop wishing. Allow me to give you the most thrilling plan existing, one that you can't imagine. I want you to have the very best. Please allow me to bring it to you. Just keep your eyes on me, expecting the greatest things. Keep expecting the satisfaction, knowing that I am. Keep learning and listening to the things I tell you. You must be patient. Do not be anxious. Don't worry. Don't look around at the things others have. Don't look at the things you want. Just keep looking up to me, or you will miss what I want to give you. And then, when you are ready, I will surprise you with a love far more wonderful than you could ever dream. You see, until you are ready, until the one I have for you is ready, I am working even this very minute to have both of you ready at the same time. Until both of you are both satisfied exclusively with me, the life I have prepared for you, you won't be able to experience the love that exemplifies your relationship with me. This is perfect love. And dear one, I want you to have the most wonderful love. I want you to see in the flesh a picture of your relationship with me, and to enjoy materially and concretely the everlasting union and beauty and perfection. I am God Almighty. Believe and be satisfied.
That was read at our wedding. And we're standing there, age 27 and 26 and a half, respectively. And we didn't even realize the magnitude of this reading, And of course, 25 years later, wow. And everything that you all talked about, y'all didn't know about this reading.
But that's everything that you just described.
Yep. Everything. Absolutely.
The whole
everything.
experience.
Yep.
That ought to give you chills.
Yes. Yep.
Knowing that that's what he just walked you through.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what he was speaking to your spirit. That's exactly what he was telling you. And that's why it's so powerful to recognize that this is the path that God is trying to take so many people on. And that's why I want so many people to be able to understand this. And that's why we wanted to be able to share your story with so many people, because we see people who are hurting. We see people who are just frustrated and desiring it, and they don't recognize this is the will of God for your life. People need to stop with this frustration talking about, well, ain't no good men out here. Ain't no good women out here. There are I don't know how many billion people on the planet. Ain't
Right.
but one you. You don't need but one.
Right?
You don't know. You don't even know 1,000 people. And you talking about ain't no good ones. And it's 7 point whatever billion people on the planet. God said your person, you ain't seen them yet. So stop talking about that he doesn't have them. How are you gonna trust God for your health, for your finances, and you can't trust him to produce one
Right.
person to match you?
That's
You just
it.
don't know how to trust God. And we gotta learn how to trust God for everything.
Yeah. And, the way the world is now, it's always the easy way out. I remember having a conversation with two young ladies and, just telling them just about relationship, and how they're like, well, there's no good men out here. If I don't find one within a certain time frame, I'm going to go ahead and go to the sperm bank so I can have me a baby, those type of things. You feel me? So, I give God praise that you definitely adhere to what God told the both of you to do. And for that, your marriage will be fruitful. It'll be blessed. And I look forward to the many years of experiencing this journey and one day having some little spiritual grandbabies. Can't wait for that.
Amen.
Yep. All right.
Well, praise God, man. We excited. Like I said, we're proud of you guys. We love you, and we are so blessed to have you here with us tonight on SEER Training. But
Thank you.
Thank you.
we bless you, man. And so all of you guys, we want to make sure you come back with us on next time on SEER Training. I'm Pastor Tuck. This is Pastor Steph, and these are the Joneses. So make sure y'all come back and see us again on next time. Stay tuned for our announcements. God bless you, and make sure you tell everybody to watch us here on the My Church channel every third Thursday at 7:30 p.m. God bless you. At My Church, we help people get better by teaching them how the Word works. And we want to make sure there is no excuse not to get the Word. It's our goal to make all of our ministries accessible on every smartphone, tablet, PC, and television connected to the internet. So whether you're a man who needs some wisdom, a woman who needs some encouragement, or a couple who needs guidance, the My Church channel has just what you need. Simply search for the My Church channel on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV, or visit mychurchchannel.org. You can also download the My Church on the Go app from Apple or Google Play App Store. Constantly on the move? Check out the Word at My Church podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Or simply download the Word at My Church skill on your Alexa-enabled device. But whatever you do, make sure to stay connected. See you soon.